The What It Takes Radio Company is proud to present another presentation of Interesting Ideas, a podcast for insight, influence, impact, and income. And today we say Hanukkah, Hamas, and Abraham Heschel. Let's see if we can bring them together. And what is that all about? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston once again for Interesting Ideas, and we're doing a video and radio edition today. And I trust that you'll find that helpful and useful. As I often say, I have a face made for radio, but we try and do a little video from time to time too. Perhaps so you can see a little bit of my personality, my expression, maybe my energy, and certainly a little bit of empathy for me. Hey, today we are approaching the end of the Festival of Lights of the Hanukkah season for those of my good friends around the world, literally in the Jewish tradition. So I want to talk a little bit about that today because it's an interesting idea, and it is such a relevant idea, as some people have shown, that in effect what the Hanukkah celebration is about is a miracle. And the miracle occurred because, does this sound familiar, that a group of people were trying to wipe them out. And they were a persecuted people. They've been persecuted all throughout history, it seems. And in effect, what happened was that there was a miracle in which the lights that were needed, the oil, to keep the lights burning in the battle miraculously kept appearing. And it was a miracle, a festival of lights. And what happened is that the Jews who were going to be defeated and massacred by their enemies turned the table on them and went right back after them, and they had a great victory over their oppressor. And of course, that's part of the inspiration for the action of the Israeli people today. First of all, obviously, they're responding to the Holocaust when Hitler and the Nazis said, we're going to wipe all the Jews out, which is exactly what Hamas has said. We're going to keep doing this until all the Jews are dead and that all of the state of Israel is gone. Well, finally, the state of Israel, the people of Israel, have said, no, we're not going to do that. Never again. You're not going to do that. And the war continues, and that's why they're holding on very strongly. No, they don't want a ceasefire. They want, just like the Americans and the Europeans and the British and the Russians working together in World War II said to the Germans and to the Japanese, no ceasefire, unconditional surrender. And that took a long time, and basically they wiped out the infrastructure of both of the nations, of Japan and, of course, of Germany. And, of course, there were millions of casualties on both sides, and many of them were so-called civilian casualties, but that's what the war was all about. And it went forward, and that's the situation today in many ways. And so that's part of the deal. But I want now to back off from that scene and introduce you to one of my heroes in the Jewish tradition, someone who has influenced me a great deal in my own thinking as a part of my participation, as I've always done, in the Hanukkah season, though I am not of the Jewish tradition, nor do I fully practice that faith. I am a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus. But as one of my friends said to me, Stan, and he was a Jewish friend, Stan, sometimes I think you're a better Jew than most Jews I know because I so honor the tradition that flows out of the Hebrew Scriptures and into the life of the Judaic religion. So that's what I'd like to do today, and that's why I'm going to read you from one of my favorite philosophers, poets, thinkers, And so I need to have a little bit of my glary glasses on because I'm going to read some close-up stuff. So, hey, I'm Stan Houston. This is Interesting Ideas, and I want to introduce you to Abraham Heschel. And that little part of the program begins right now. Here we go. Recently, when I made the move from Arizona to Carolina, I have bought thousands of books in my lifetime. Uh, what do I do with them? Do I have them in a nice library? No. Actually, every time I made a move, what I had to do is I had to go through all my books and I gave most of them away. So I remember that when Karen and I left to do our overseas international mission broadcasting work, I had scads of books from my 12 years of going to school and of teaching. And I remember putting them out on the floor of our living room and just inviting people to come and take them. And off they went. Well, then throughout my time in Europe and in Latin America, I also accumulated a ton of books. And same thing, when we left there, I gave a scat of them away, invited friends over, and they took a lot of them. When we left Minnesota and went to Arizona, I did the same thing. And this was different. In our move from Arizona to Carolina, now at this age and stage, I gave away hundreds of books, and I only kept the ones that I thought I might want to use at this stage in my life. And then I'm going to go through those, and I'm going to, if I know when I'm going to die, I'm going to give those away to special friends. And then I'm just going to keep a few that I want my children and my grandchildren to see. Well, why did Grandpa Stan leave this book? Did he want us to read it? Did he want us to know about it? And that's exactly will be my plan. So I'm down to very few books now. And as I get older and as I get a little more feeble, and as I know that in effect the end is coming, I will start giving those away too. But there will be a very small section besides my Book of Common Prayer, which is very important to me. Some of the books that have been very meaningful to me that I want my children perhaps to say, I wonder if I should look at this. Obviously, he left it here. He marked it up, hoping that maybe I would look at it and read it. So that's the plan. Well, one they will find is this little paperback with my hero. He kind of looks like, and by the way, you will oftentimes see a picture of Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist civil rights minister. And there will be a picture of a white-haired man who does look like God in Michelangelo's God, a lot like Einstein, and that man will be Abraham Heschel, a Jewish Hebrew philosopher, poet, thinker, theologian, incredible man who was best friends and contributed very much to the tradition of both Christian and Jews talking and thinking and praying together about the things that were important to him. Abraham Heschel. And this one, I had many of them, but I'm down to 5 now, is I asked for wonder. I asked for wonder. And that's exactly what he did ask for. Here's what he said. He was sharing this with a friend. He said, I did not ask for success. I asked for wonder, and you gave it to me. One of the things that I have said that we should do at this season of lights, both for my friends who celebrate the Hanukkah and those, of course, who celebrate the Christmas tradition. Lights are central to that work and to that faith and to that celebration. I say, it's not about the shopping. What it's about is the fact that you enter into a great mystery. You realize, you celebrate that things mysterious, things miraculous, things we do not understand, like miracles, are a part of our life. And what we're really asking for is that very much like children, in the way they celebrate the holidays, wow, wonder. I asked for wonder and you gave it to me. Heschel said the only real response to a significant God event in your life is, ah. Here is just a few things I'd like to share with you today. He's talking about the parent, the teacher, and youth. The heart of the Ten Commandments is to be found in the words, honor, revere thy father and thy mother. The problem I face as a father is, why in the world should my child revere me? That is, unless my child will sense in my personal existence acts and attitudes that evoke reverence, like the ability to delay satisfaction, to overcome prejudices, to sense the holy, to strive for the noble. Unless they see that in me, why should he or she revere or honor me? Yeah, honor thy father and thy mother. What is there about my life that they should honor or revere or model or imitate? Think about that. Now he talks about the teacher. Everything depends on the person who stands in the front of the classroom. The teacher is not an automatic fountain from which intellectual beverages may be obtained. He or she is either a witness or a stranger. To guide a pupil into the promised land, he or she must have been there himself. When asking themselves, do I stand for what I teach? Do I believe what I say? They must be able to answer in the affirmative. What we need more than anything else is not textbooks, but text people. It is the personality of the teacher, which is the text that the pupils read. And that is the text that they will never forget. And now, something for the youth. What message have you for young people? Asked Carl Stern of NBC in concluding a television interview with Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. And this was just before his death. Rabbi Heschel replied, let them remember that there is a meaning even beyond absurdity. Let them be sure that every deed counts, that every word has power, and that we all can do our share to redeem the world in spite of all the absurdities and all the frustrations and all disappointments. And above all, let them remember to build a life as if it were a work of art. Build a life as if it were a work of art. let's take a brief break, and I'll be back. And many of us are wondering what the future holds and wondering what should we do. Wherever you are now in life, remember what Heschel said. Build your life as if it were a work of art. Something that is beautiful, something that is inspirational, something that catches the eye, something that may stir the mind, move the spirit, and touch the heart. Be a beautiful work of art. Is that something that perhaps at this Hanukkah time and at this Advent and Christmas celebration time that we could take very seriously? This is the time when miracles can happen, that profound things can happen that we don't fully understand. But maybe it will give us the opportunity, as I say, that I want to live my life in such a way that, like a great work of art, I can proudly say, very much as supposedly Bach said, in honor of the great creator, in honor of the great maker, I sign this as also a work of art. Best and blessings to you at this Hanukkah and Advent and Christmas time. And remember, young and old, live your life as if it were indeed a work of art. All the best. Bye for now. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.